Shall we get started?
Yeah, love it.
Okay, Libby Langdon, I am so happy to have you. Welcome to Decor News Now. I'm very curious about what portion of your time now is dedicated towards running an interior design firm and working with clients versus designing new lines.
When I sort of, plot it all out, it's about 60% my day job as an interior designer, and then probably 40% my side hustle as a product designer. So it kind of balances out that way. But it's interesting because the product design portion of it, it's every 6 months, it's creating new looks, looking at trends, looking at what I think is going to be fun and relevant. What's nice about the product design is that my interior design really informs the products that I design. So I kind of feel like I use my clients as, they're the ultimate research and development, working on the front lines with people that are telling me what they like and they're telling me what they don't like. That's really helpful when it comes to actually creating different products.
To that point, I'm curious about what pieces from your collections frequently end up in your clients' homes.
Well, that's actually kind of a fun thing because Chris, who's a designer that works with me, we don't really let people know that it's my furniture. So it kind of needs to be peppered in with a lot of different pieces from different manufacturers. But it's kind of like this collective yay when we're in the office and they're like, she picked your bed, or she picked your sofa or your dining chairs, or yay, she picked your pictures. Don't really let people know that it's mine, but it's really super fun when they're looking at a lot of different sofas and they pick one of mine. It's super fun. And then I don't think they know it's mine until it shows up with like Libby Langdon for Fairfield or Libby Langdon for Crystorama.
So you let them know afterwards. There's a little bit of a reveal there.
Yes, exactly.
That's so funny. Is there a piece that you find, or some pieces that you find are chosen over and over again that are really big hits?
Yes. I would say my lighting, there's one chandelier, it's the Sylvan chandelier. That is a greatest hit for sure. And then also for Fairfield, I think I have a hairy sofa that almost has like this kind of Greek key shape to the arms. And that is a greatest hit. And then for Paragon, I have some this collection. It's called Splish Splash, and they were actually pictures I took at the Bridgehampton Beach out here in the Hamptons. And it's kind of a modern abstract wave picture. That's a greatest hit for sure.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you have Chris, who's a designer who works under you. What does your business look like these days? How many employees do you have? How are you running this operation?
So I have 3 employees, Heather, who does our bookkeeping, then Mallory does admin, and she kind of does a lot of things. She helps work on the website and all that kind of stuff. And then Chris is a designer that works with me, and he sort of has his hands in a lot of different things. But it's interesting because he'll also help me with product design. So I can't do CAD if my life depended on it. And but for Crystorama, for my lighting collections, I'll do these hideous sketches and then I'll give them to Chris and then he puts them into CAD, and that's what the factory works off of. So I think what's fun is I feel like everybody gets to do a lot of different things. It's not like going in and doing the same thing ever. There's always something new because there's so many different aspects of my business.
What advice do you have for a designer who's looking to develop a line? And then a second piece of advice for a designer who has just started developing their first line?
So I think the most important thing with product design is finding the right partner. That is everything. And I think the really important thing is finding a partner that's not already doing what you want to do. Because at that point, you're not bringing anything new to the table, and you're almost kind of cannibalizing their audience and their buying sector. So the best thing, like when I partnered with Crystorama Lighting, they had tons of chandeliers. It was a lot of crystal. It was a more classic traditional look, and they were wanting to sort of branch out and do some things a little sleeker, a little more modern. So that was just a magical fit. And same with Fairfield. I feel like they were sort of starting to just make a transition when I partnered with them out of a much more traditional, a much more classic look. So I think if you can find a partner that's needing a new direction and a new design aesthetic, that's the perfect way to go. The other thing I would say is if somebody's just starting out developing product, it's really important and it's hard, but you have to, when you go meet with a new potential partner, you have to bring so much to show them. You can't just be very particular and only show a few things, because there's probably a really good chance they've already got a lot in the hopper of their own in-house collection. And so again, you just want to make sure you're not repeating and you're bringing new things to them. So for me, the kind of secret recipe is design way more than you think they will ever want to produce. And that way you can really kind of go through, curate, cull, handpick the things that are going to really resonate. And then I think the last best tip is design what you think is going to sell. I don't show a hot pink velvet tete-a-tete sofa because I've never had a client who's wanted a hot pink tete-a-tete velvet sofa. So I think there might be a moment where somebody says, you know what, let's do something crazy and run it up the flagpole. But at that point, you're not being a responsible partner. It costs so much to develop new product. You want to make sure that what you're creating is going to really have the chance to have legs and sell and work out in the marketplace. So if you want to do that fancy, crazy, off the wall thing, maybe do that as a one-off for one of your clients with a private label. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this because I want to make money. I know that probably sounds terrible, but it's just boiling it down to I want to make money and I want to help my partners make money.
What's the other side of that coin? What are the signs that a partnership is maybe not going to work? What are some red flags you'd look for?
A red flag is price point. You've got to look at the price point of what the manufacturer is going to sell. And as a designer, would you be able to purchase that for one of your projects? And a red flag for me with one company that I partnered with for a little while was I wanted this really cool, kind of like funky shaped magazine rack. And it was going to be, leather and polished nickel. And it was super cool. And we got to market and it was an $800 magazine rack. And I was like, I don't know anybody who's going to buy an $800 magazine rack. And so I think you need to make sure that your brand and who you can reach with your messaging is aligned with the price point. That can just be an epic fail. You can have one market, not sell a single thing, and then you're done. Knowing what the price point is and following that through the process is incredibly important. I think also if you just meet the people and you don't like the people, don't work with those people. And we have a sign in our office and it's like a no parking sign, but it says no mean clients. So so that works. Also, no mean partners. It's just life is too short. You want to make sure you really love the people that you're working with.
Talk to me a little bit about the process and how does the process differ in designing a rug line versus a line of case goods and upholstery versus lighting versus wall decor? And tell me a little bit about your favorite parts of the process and what some of the challenges are.
It's interesting. The wall decor process is very different because when I partnered with Paragon, they were very upfront about you have to bring us the ideas. It's not a matter of us brainstorming with you. They're like, you gotta, and pretty much all the partners, I've got to bring the ideas. I think the notion of product design sometimes is maybe gets a little muddy, and sometimes designers think, oh, well, I'll go to this furniture manufacturer and they'll show me 6 sofas and I'll say I'm going to put my name on this one. And it's not that way at all. You have to bring everything to the table. So the process with the furniture is I do the sketches, and it builds over the 6-month period. So say a client shows me an end table or a coffee table from something they saw on Pinterest or Instagram, and I can't find it, and Chris in my office can't find it. If we're looking for that coffee table for 3 weeks and we can't find it and somebody really wants it, that's probably a pretty good place to start with designing. So I do terrible sketches, but I come up with measurements. I give everything that I want. And Fairfield actually has an amazing CAD team. So those people do the CAD for the furniture. Paragon, I have to bring them every file, whether it's original abstract art, photography. I have to give them the ideas. What do I want to print it on? What is the frame? And then the rugs, definitely I have to come up with the patterns. And I have designed some really ugly rugs. Oh my gosh. I mean, ugly rugs. But what's great about Cass is they'll go with you on it, and not everything is going to show up and be fabulous. And sometimes the things that you're like, I'm not sure about that, it shows up and the sample is amazing. And then other things you're like, I'm going to kill it with this, and it shows up and you're like, it's all. And then with the lighting, again, I'll sketch things and come up with the ideas. Chris in the office does all the CAD, but it's got to be down to specifics, like how is it going to ship? How's it going to come in a container? Like I might want this fabulous, huge 40-inch globe, but if they can get 3 on a shipping container, I'm probably not going to sell a lot of those globes. So you have to be very logistical when you're designing as well. And same for the accessories with A&B Home. You've got to really just keep in mind materials, cost of materials, and is it going to be worth it, and is it going to sell? I think one of the most challenging things of designing product is, even if you have a company like Fairfield, they have an amazing sales force. They have these sales reps that are out all over the country. It's not enough just to design a really great product. You've got to get out there and sell it. Sometimes people think, well, I'm just going to design this and it will go out into the world and it will be fabulous and we'll sell a gazillion of them. But a lot of time and energy and effort from my side goes on to the promotion, whether it's via my social media or on my website or videos or whatever it is. So I think the notion that you just design something and it's great and then it goes off and has a life of its own, that's probably one of the biggest, misconceptions. It really just begins when you get to market, and then you're out there selling it just like everybody else is.
You really are an effective salesperson for your lines. Because like I said, just before this call, where are you actually based? Because in my head, you live in the Fairfield showroom.
Good. Well, I'm glad that gets out there. And I honestly do feel like I live in the Fairfield showroom. So
which of your collections or specific pieces do you have in your own home?
Oh my gosh, I have a lot. Okay, I'm going to show you, right? Okay, quickly. I'll give you a quick tour. So I have my Bellows dining table, which has this really groovy brass base, which is cool. And then this is one of my best-selling dining chairs. So I have the Brookwood bench. This is funny. I've never really done a tour like this. So that's the Brookwood bench. This is the Percy wing chair, which is one of my best-selling chairs, unbelievably comfortable. And this is the Harry sofa. This is one of my dryer ottomans. It's kind of messy in here, but this is my dining table, the Oakley dining table. And then this is one of my buffets. And then this is another console. And these are some of my etagères that light up. They're really cool. So Yeah, so it's fun to kind of have my own stuff in our house.
So your house is the Fairfield showroom.
It kind of is. Yeah, it is. It really is, truly. But it's really neat. And I love just living with these pieces. And I think too, what's nice with Fairfield is they just have such a great group of people that build the furniture. I think sometimes there's this idea that there's a machine and you stick a tree trunk in one end and a sofa pops out the other end. And what you forget is how many hands have to touch one piece of furniture. The sewers, the people who stuff the pillows, the finishing, the pattern makers. There's just so much that goes into it. And so I feel very proud that they're based in Lenore, North Carolina. It's a 100-year-old family-owned business. They're all awesome people. So it really is a joy to have these pieces in our house. I love it.
They've been around 100 years. A lot of these American-made furniture companies have been. You've been in the
Yes.
industry quite a while, not 100 years, but
Yeah.
though it might feel like that, not 100 years. I'd love to know some observations about what is different in the industry between when you started and now.
You know what is different in the industry from when I started? I started in 2004, and I will say, honestly, I didn't have a lot of need for interaction with other interior designers when I started, unless I was doing a show house or something like that. But social media has really made us a lot more of a community. And whereas maybe 20 years ago there was more competition, now everybody just feels like there is enough work to go around for everybody. So that sense of fighting for jobs is just gone. There is enough work for everybody. And I think a thing that's changed in the furniture industry in the 20 years that I've been in it was when I first started, I think everyone was really focused on, at least manufacturers were focused on selling to retailers. That was it. That was the end all do all. And designers were okay, but we could give or take the designers. That business didn't really matter. And we've just seen a seismic shift in the importance and the power and the rise of the interior designer. And that's been a really exciting thing to watch and to be a part of. I think markets have changed because now manufacturers are really courting interior designers. They want our business. We're busy, we're swamped, we're placing orders over and over and over again. And I think more consumers have learned they can afford interior designers. So that's changed the industry a ton. And we're spending a lot of money. And so manufacturers want to get in on that.
Is there a dream project you haven't done but really want to?
Then, I mean, gosh, if I have my fantasy interior design project would be designing a hotel in the Caribbean for Jimmy Buffett. That would be like, I would never have to design anything ever again if that happened. That would be tremendous. But I would love to do more. I've done a lot of restaurants, I've done golf shops, I've done bakeries and cafes and clothing stores, but I would love to do a hotel. I'd also love to do some senior living spaces and things like that I think there's this thought that older people need older style. No, they want cool, they want neat, they want fun, they need functional. So I'd love to kind of throw my hat into that arena. That would be something sort of fun to do. I'm always open to whatever is coming down the pike. And I think when you are open to that, that's when things happen and you just never know.
Well, Libby, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure.
Courtney, this is awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I loved it.